Welcome to Keith Brace's In the Clubhouse, my sideways look at rugby union. Well, Chris, we won a game again. We beat Samoa last week.
Oh, yes.
We beat Australia 26-17 on Saturday. And everyone's breathed a sigh of relief. Overall for the autumn series, for me, England scored 6 out of 10. 2 first up losses against New Zealand, who are the best side in the world, and then South Africa, and then a victory against one of the minnows, Samoa, and then a victory against the old enemy, Australia, which bodes well for next season's Rugby World Cup.
Oh, good.
So yeah, they're in our group along with Wales. So one of the big three, Wales, England or Australia, is going to go out at that stage in the group of death, as we're often told in soccer. Now, but we're no nearer to finding a back line that can compete with the New Zealanders and the South Africans. The centre combination to understudy first choice pair Luther Burrell and Manu Tuilagi. Jury's still out on that, Chris, for me. Brad Barrett tackled well. He had 2 blood bin substitutions on Saturday. He puts his body on the line, the 28-year-old South African. What he's doing playing.
So he was sin-binned twice?
He wasn't sin-binned.
Oh, right.
He went off for a blood injury. Right. Because he cut his head twice.
Yeah.
In the game, and you have to go off. You have to go off in rugby when you cut your head.
Yeah.
They stitch you up, not all these pansy footballers.
No.
If they cut themselves, they get their handbag out and get their compact.
So they get the needle and cotton out there and then.
They do in the dressing
room.
There's always a doctor on hand to stitch
Put this
up.
piece of wood in your mouth, bite on it, and we'll stitch
It's
you
usually
up.
a leather belt, actually, Chris.
I was going back into a
and then they hit them with it afterwards.
That's right. Give me a drop of whiskey.
Yeah, well.
Why?
Anyway, these tough rugby players, they can take it and dish it out. As I say, Brad Barrett went off twice for blood bin substitutions on Saturday, but he did play well, tackled well. But he's not the flair player that we're looking for in that outside centre position. And for me, Manu Tuilagi and Luther Burrell have got to come back into the frame when they're fit again. Because England had 7 British Lions out this autumn, Chris. 7 British Lions out. Alex Corbisiero, Dan Cole, Tom Youngs, Manu Tuilagi, and others. It's hard to beat the best in the world when you've got 7 of your best players on the sidelines. So fair play to England, 6 out of 10. They didn't do too bad. But one thing that did please me this autumn is the emergence of George Ford, the little diminutive fly half from Bath. He's finding quite a partnership now with his scrum half Ben Youngs, who's played for the last 3 games and looks back to his best, the Leicester Tigers scrum half. So yeah, Youngs and Ford might be the combination that goes into the World Cup, or at least into the Six Nations. We'll have to see. Well, saying that, Ben Youngs did miss a crucial tackle for Australia's try on Saturday, so. He'll be watching his video playback, and it'll be pointed out where he shouldn't have dropped off a tackle, which he did on Saturday to let the Aussies breach the first line of defence. The experiment with Owen Farrell at inside centre hasn't worked for me, and frankly, I think there was a bit of dithering from Stuart Ancaster at the start of the series, because he's never played without Owen Farrell in his side. Frankly, Owen Farrell wasn't match fit and shouldn't have been playing. And if George Ford had had more game time in the Six Nations last year, I'm sure George Ford would have stepped up. But as it was, he made his debut against Samoa, acquitted himself well, and played again against Australia on Saturday and orchestrated the win for England, as I say, by 26-17, contributing 16 points with the boot. For me, though, Ford isn't quite as good a kicker as Owen Farrell. Owen Farrell's statistics are better than George Ford. George Ford tends to miss fairly easy ones sometimes, and he has shown a tendency to miss pressure kicks. But Owen Farrell, as we all know, Johnny Wilkinson was the best of the lot. He hardly missed ever from both sides, left-footed, right-footed. He was brilliant. But your kicker should always be your first person on the list, in my opinion. The first player you put down, your best kicker. And for me, Owen Farrell still shades George Ford on that point. As I say, George Paul helped himself to 16 points to the boot on Saturday, which will help build his confidence. But he did just miss a straight in front, long way out though, at the limit of his range, kick just before half time on Saturday, and he is the inferior kicker to Owen Farrell. And when the chips are down, if one of them misses a kick, that might be crucial to England's chances. The pack continues to perform well. Bath's Dave Atwood was one of the finds of the autumn series, along with fellow second row George Cruz, another South African. It's getting like cricket, Chris. More South Africans and Australians in our side than Englishmen, I think. No, I jest. And Joe Marler and David Wilson have been absolutely solid as props in the scrummage, propping mostly Dylan Hartley, whose line-out work continues to be excellent, although his discipline still needs a bit of work because he was sin-bin for one of the games. As I said to you earlier on, we missed two first-choice props in Alex Corbusiero and Dan Cole, who should be back for the Six Nations, and they are both British Lions, as I say, so we have missed them. And Courtney Laws has been outstanding. This weekend, he sprinted 40 metres in a scramble defence to side down Adam Ashley Cooper, the Australian's best back by a country mile, 5 yards from the line. A real try-saving tackle, and the players knew that, and they congratulated him on the pitch, backslapping and high-fiving, because it was such a fantastic piece of play from Courtney Laws, who is such an athlete and has played out of his skin this autumn, dominated the line out where England have called the shot, where he calls the shots, and where England have dominated all autumn. As I said, contrary to other opinions, Ben Morgan, who scored 2 tries on Saturday in a man of the match performance, isn't as athletic and as Courtney. It's Courtney Laws, the Northampton second row, and Thomas Waldrum, who was understudying Ben Morgan on Saturday because Billy Vunipola isn't fit, is built of the same strong English stock, an oak tree rather than a willow, carrying a bit too much timber. That was very lyrical, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Very poetic.
In fact, a lot of the things you've said tonight have actually rhymed. You probably didn't even realise, yeah?
Now, can we just break off there for a minute,
Come
Chris?
on, then.
I've got a bit of a surprise for you.
Oh, no, don't get it out of here. Oh, right. Okay.
No.
Sorry. Okay.
I've written a poem.
Oh, have you?
I've written a poem.
Oh, well done.
Well, me and my wife have written a poem.
Oh, good.
Do you want to hear it?
Oh, go on, yeah. Go on in.
You don't mind, do you?
No, I don't mind at all.
It's called Brummagem's Song.
Right.
So here we go. If you've never been to Birmingham, then you oughta. It's a grand city made up of many a quarter. There's jewellery to be sold, diamonds, platinum and gold, Bolton silver to a say, precious gems from far away. Guns were made nearby, helping soldiers fight and die. In the English Civil War, we made musket, cannon and ball. A more powerful Lewis gun helped the British beat the Hun. Mr. Webley made a revolver, fired by many a pitiful soldier. On a lighter note in the theatre quarter, the stage is set for talented daughters. The Rep, the Alex and Hippodrome encourage performers to make Birmingham their own. Chaplin, Burton and Olivier travelled here to perform their plays. Musicals, ballet and pantomime ensure cultural visitors have a good time. The NEC and NIA have changed their names along the way. The Good Food Show, crufts and fashion galore ensure our visitors come back for more. In the Symphony Hall there was often a battle between the CBSO and Sir Simon Rattle. The Chinese Quarter is colourful and bright, a fantastic place to go out at night. Stir-fried noodles, a tantalising odour, a grand dragon parade from Wingips Pagoda. The Balti Belt, full of saris and spices, tasty Asian food cooked with different rices. An area to visit to sample a curry. At Adil's or Imran's, there's no need to hurry. Bring your own beer, share various starters. Poppadoms, pakoras, aloo with tomatoes. A curry in a bucket, naan size of a table. Mild, medium or hot, eat it all if you're able. Our city has Cadbury, Jaguar Land Rover too. Speedway rugby and cricket, all for you. A passion for sport, you can hear the roar. For a goal scored by Blues or Villa football. Indoor and outdoor, the Bullring markets sell everything from cheese to carpets. The Germans come at Christmas time, bringing bratwurst, schnitzel and Glühwein. Birmingham has more canals than Venice. We also invented the game of lawn tennis. The Botanical Gardens and Cannon Hill Park have flowers and lawns hosting shows. What a lark! An airport, coach and New Street station make us the centre of our nation. To travel by car to any function, you may have to negotiate Spaghetti Junction. The stroll from St Philip's to St Paul's, where Bolton and Watt occupied the pew stalls. Pugin St Chad's, the Roman Catholic Cathedral. Anglican St Martin's on the steps by the Bronze Bull. The Kennedy Memorial near Digbert's Custard Factory healed the wounds of the Irish after the Birmingham atrocity. The Rotunda stood proud, tall and round, blown to pieces with the tavern in the town. The city recovered, no flags at half-mast. Brummies look forward, don't dwell on the past. Our mixture of cultures live well together. Our heritage, our history, will go on forever.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Well done. I was looking for the applause, but I can't find it.
No applause
there. Hang on. There you go.
Excellent.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, well, I just thought me and the missus penned that yesterday for a competition. So,
what was the competition?
Oh, I'm not sure, actually. It was some West Midlands writing competition.
Oh, right.
So okay. It's a bit of doggerel. Bit of a limerick type thing. So, yeah. It was all about Birmingham and its history and all the... So, I hope listeners like it, and I might put it up on my Facebook page so you can have a look at it.
That's a good one, yeah. Please do.
Okay, I'll put it up on yours as well, on Sports Radio Birmingham page.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so there. Back to the rugby anyway after that brief literary interlude.
Yeah.
So, Ben Morgan and Billy Vunipola, not quite as athletic. And this brings us on to Sam Burgess, the Bath number 8, who made his debut for Bath on Saturday against the Harlequins, where they won 29 points to 6. Sam Burgess is the rugby league convert who has been described as the great white hope for English rugby. Coming from rugby league, coming from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who we keep mentioning because we love that name, owned by Russell Crowe, the Hollywood actor.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
so
he owns the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Yeah, and they just won the NRL in Australia last October, this October. So yeah,
I love the way that everything ends in an O. In Australia, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Drongos.
Yeah,
Drongos. Yeah, dingoes.
Let's go and get a dingo in the outback. Blue.
Blue-o.
No.
Anyway, back to Sam Burgess. Yeah, he played for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, the same in the NRL. In fact, in the grand final, he got injured in the first 2 minutes. He had his eye socket broken by a high tackle, and he played on.
Oh, right.
He's that sort of bionic man, actually, Chris. And
they don't make him like that anymore.
They breed them tough up north, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do.
And, the Australian Rugby League is the top rugby league competition in the world, and he's excelled in that, and he dragged South Sydney Rabbitohs, who haven't won anything for 40-odd years, I gather. It would be a bit like Crystal Palace winning the Premier League or something like that. So
is the Australian Rugby League scene, is that bigger than...
It's huge over there. Yeah. Much bigger than Rugby Union. That's why Australia is the weakest of the 3 Southern Hemisphere nations, because most of their top athletes play Rugby League because there's more money to be made there. And Rugby Union is suffering in Australia. And we can see that from the lack of forward prowess from the Australians on Saturday. England absolutely marmalised them up front and... absolutely
marmalised them.
They did.
Marmalised them.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, the team of the autumn internationals has been Ireland, frankly, Chris. They beat South Africa, they beat Australia. They didn't play New Zealand. I'm sure they would have run them close. They almost beat them last autumn when they lost to a last-minute conversion. And they've never beaten New Zealand, but they came pretty close. Not this autumn, last autumn, but. Johnny Sexton has probably been the standout player of the autumn series for Ireland. He's run run the games against South Africa and Australia and won them with his outstanding kicking prowess and game management. Now, this, for me, England, I mean, I've been having a think about the way England train, and, you know, they've all got laptops, they've all got gym regimes, they've all got, you know, they all get filmed and videoed, and their mistakes are pondered over by the coaches, and they tell them never to make that mistake again. But for me, they might be a bit overcoached, frankly, Chris. I think sometimes that England are a bit overcoached.
Overcoached?
Overcoached.
How can you be overcoached?
Well, rugby union is a very instinctive game, actually, Chris. If you remember, you probably don't remember the fantastic Welsh sides of the 1970s. Barry John, Gareth Edwards, Phil Bennett, JPR Williams, Gerald Davis, JJ Williams, all those great players. They played what was in front of them. They were instinctive rugby players. And rugby is a game that you can play off the cuff. But you obviously have to have a plan and a strategy. But nowadays, I think England possibly, because Stuart Lancaster is a teacher, he's used to telling people what to do and and giving them strategies and plans for what he does in the classroom. And I think, frankly, England lack flair. Right. And they always look to defend first. They always pick a player on his defensive capabilities on rather what he can do in attack. And that's wrong for me. I'm a bit of a cavalier myself rather than a roundhead.
Yeah.
But, people like Christian Wade, the Wasp swinger, he doesn't get a look in because his defences he's deemed to be fallible. Good evening, Nick.
Greetings.
Just talking about rugby here. You missed my poem, but...
you missed it.
What's rugby? Indeed.
It's that other game we play now and again.
Played by men with funny shaped balls.
Yeah.
Those are the old ones are the best, aren't they? Tumbleweeds coming, Chris.
Capo said that he's going to the Munster versus Moseley match in 2 weeks. It's first ever Munster game.
Is he not with an name like Corcoran? He's got to be Irish, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I hope
it's different to us.
I hope you enjoy it, Capo. Mostly played Worcester at the weekend, those Wussy boys. Sadly, Worcester won again in the British and Irish Cup. 31-12 at Six Ways, Worcester's home. It's a fantastic ground, but they sadly haven't got the team to compete in the top of the Premiership. They've been up and down over the last few seasons. But, as I say, for me, England lacked flair. And they always look to a player's defence rather than their attacking capabilities. As I said, Danny Cipriani's missed out. His attack is the biggest part of his game rather than his defence. Their attitude is, if they don't score against us, we have what we hold, and we can't be beaten if they don't score against us. That's a very negative attitude to me.
It is a bit, isn't it, really?
It's a bit like Roy Hodgson in the football, He's a bit defence-minded, he's not particularly an attacking flair manager, a bit like, like Glenn Hoddle, for instance, would have been a flair manager and an attacking manager as a forward. Yeah. You know what I'm driving at.
I know where you're from.
Anyway, England, as I say, are gym fit, but the All Blacks are match fit in the head and in the body. They've played matches and they're honed to perfection, the All Blacks. And that's why England just can't compete with them at the moment. As I say, we've lost 4 games on the bounce, the All Blacks. So, it's difficult. But, with the World Cup coming up, there is that factor of, the home advantage. Apparently, I hadn't realised this, but in the final, there have been, I think it's about 7 or 8 World Cups. And in all but 2 of the finals, the home nation has been in the final.
Oh.
So, that's an interesting fact. So
there are benefits of
there are benefits of hosting the World Cup, absolutely.
You probably put the kibosh on that now, Keith.
Well, no.
Thanks.
Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier on about the All Blacks, the reason they are different is because their forwards have the skills of their backs almost. They're interchangeable almost. The new hooker, Dane Coles, is as quick as a centre and has the hands of a fly half. And we need our forwards to be like that, like the All Blacks. They need to be comfortable with the ball, not just use it and take it up and drop to the floor and ruck over. And they need to be able to pass and catch and draw a man. We saw that in the New Zealand game earlier this autumn when Dave Atwood, who otherwise had a fantastic series, is a great find for England. We've got 4 or 5 top-class locks now. Jeff Parling, as I mentioned, Courtney Laws is such an athlete. Dave Atwood, George Cruz. Pick any one from those 4 or 5, and we can compete up front with any nation in the world. It's just our backs lack flair, and unlike like the New Zealanders. South Africa, for instance, they also lack a bit of flair. They're more forward-orientated side, but they always seem to manage to find a way to win. Anybody with Brian Abana in their side has got some flair. So, as I say, Dave Atwood was put away with a chance to put his own winger away against the All Blacks and just ran up a blind alley, and the chance was lost. But England need more rugby brains, not brawn, is what I say. They need to play what's in front of them and not react instinctively rather than a regimented way. It's been said that the England are overcoached, but as I say, that's my opinion. But it's been like that for the last 20 years, so it's not going to change now. Everyone of the England players is too frightened to make a mistake, in my opinion. So until you've got to be confident in your own abilities and not afraid to make mistakes. That's the key to successful sport, in my opinion. Confidence. And as I said, the World Cup being at home should help the English effort. Now to a subject which pains me to mention. Homophobia has reared its ugly head.
Really?
On the rugby field.
Rugby.
Homophobia,
I would
indeed.
I would never have thought.
Have you heard of Nigel Owens, Chris?
I haven't, no, got to be honest.
He's an openly gay international referee. Okay. Probably the best referee.
Oh, right, okay.
Probably the best referee in the world. He has a natural empathy with the players whenever he referees. And he has refereed some of the best games of rugby that I have seen over the last 10 years. He's a fantastic ref. Openly gay. Doesn't mince around the pitch. He's a man's man as well as being openly gay. But apparently in the New Zealand game, in the first of the series this autumn, he was roundly abused about his sexuality by 2 England fans when he gave a decision that they didn't agree with. Whether it was the beer talking or whether they were corporate people who had a first surfeit of ale or whiskey or whatever. Anyway, we've got no place for this in rugby union. I'm glad to see that the RFU have acted swiftly and banned these 2 reprobates from Twickenham for 2 years and hit them each with £1,000 fine.
Ooh.
£1,000 fine. Yeah.
Whoa, that is a good fine, isn't it?
Well, obviously they can afford it. They probably were corporate Johnnies, weren't they?
Yeah,
so they've been banned for 2, and we don't want this sort of thing in rugby union. I know it's different.
In any sport, really.
Exactly, in any sport.
It's a good debate, really, because, things like that have gone on for years and years and years and years. And I don't know whether it's just me, but like 20, 30 years ago, it meant something different. You know what I mean? You'd say that of a referee, whether whatever his sexuality was, you know what I mean? It's funny how things, I don't know, maybe just me.
Well, like football, but rugby has yet to have its first openly gay player.
Really?
Yeah, there's no openly gay players in rugby union. As I say, Nigel Owens is an openly gay ref, which might subject him to even more abuse than a player, possibly, because rugby union doesn't have that tribalism that soccer has, say, for instance, football has, for instance.
No.
Football
rugby
fans,
league does.
It's more a working class sport, and as we know, well, that's a bit of stereotype, really. I don't think middle class people are any less homophobic than,
I don't think so,
any less tolerant than working class people,
Well,
but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nigel Owens, fair play to you, Nigel. Don't give up the game, mate. Keep on keeping on, and don't let the so and so's grind you down, mate. Keep flying the gay flag proudly for Welsh refs all over the world. So now back to Wales again. We mentioned Nigel Owens, the openly gay Welsh ref. Now, Wales won against the Southern Hemisphere side on Saturday, Chris.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
they beat South Africa 12-6.
That is a good result, really.
It is an excellent result. Yeah. Mind you, the South Africans were out on their feet. I think after a long season, they're absolutely shattered. And really, the Welsh tackled them to a standstill. It's the first win over a Southern Hemisphere side since 2008. And it's been 26. They've had one win in 27 games against the Southern Hemisphere side. So that's good for looking forward to the World Cup for the Welsh, as I say. At the moment, the Australians seem to have the Indian sign over the Welsh. Australia seem to always come up trumps against the Welsh, but it's a difficult one. But at least that's heartening for the Welsh to beat the South Africans. As I say, they looked a bit jaded, but it was a dogged victory, and fair play to Wales. And as I say, they had one or two injuries and were under strength because Richard Hibbard and other players were missing because they're not allowed to play outside the window for autumn internationals in the English Premiership, which only allows 3 weeks for players in the Premiership to play international rugby in the autumn.
It's 1908.
Is it?
Is it? In the Aviva Premiership, Newcastle 12, Sale 18. So Newcastle lost their first game in 3. London Irish 9, Gloucester 21. So Gloucester back on the winning trail. 7-try blitz by Northampton Saints over the unlucky, or not unlucky, they're not very good, London Welsh, who have the air of a relegation side already, having only got 1 point and being 11 points behind the next to bottom, who is it? It is Newcastle. Northampton Saints 43, London Welsh 14. As I say, the other exile side, London Irish 9, London Irish 9, Gloucester 21, and Newcastle 13, Sale 18. On Saturday, Leicester Tigers beat Wasps 18-16 at Welford Road. That was a welcome victory for the Tigers, and they're still 5th, so the problems they had earlier in the season seem to have gone away quite considerably. So well played the Tigers, and they're back up there fighting with the best of them. Northampton Saints, as I say, are top of the Aviva Premiership, followed by Bath, and then Exeter. There's been something of a surprise package this season. Exeter beat under-strength Saracens, who were missing Richard Wigglesworth, Brad Barrett, and others, Owen Farrell included, on Saturday. Exeter Chiefs triumphed 27-19 at Sandy Park over the Saracens, and Saracens have lost more games already than they lost in the whole of last season, so it's a bit of an upset. I'd say Exeter are doing excellently. They've only come up from the Championship 4 or 5 seasons ago, where Moseley were playing. As I say, Moseley defeated by arch-local rivals Worcester 31-12 at Six Ways. In Friday's game, Bath beat Quinns 21-6, and as I say, Bath are second in the Aviva Premiership. With we've already mentioned Sam Burgess. He made his debut off the bench in the Bath back row. For many, Sam Burgess, as I say, is the great white hope of English rugby, but it's going to take him a while to assimilate into rugby union, and I just think it's too short a period. I mean, he's got 11 months now or 10 months until the Rugby World Cup starts, so it's going to be tough for him to find out his best position. Firstly, because I would play him at number 8, because he's great at carrying the ball. He's a great runner with the ball. And he'll get more touches at number 8 in the forwards. And he's a rough, tough, big old boy, 6'5" and 18 stones. And I think, running with the ball is his strength, and bouncing off tackles and breaking tackles. And whereas inside centre is more of a distribution role, especially the way England play. So I think Luther Burrell and Manu Tuilagi are the first choice centre partnership for England. And we'll have to see where Sam Burgess fits in, because there is a vacancy for a number 8, an athletic number 8, like Sam Burgess. Say Ben Morgan, yes, he's had a great autumn series. He's overshadowed his great chief rival Billy Vunipola, who's been injured. But for me, Sam Burgess could make that position his own if only he can get some game time in and learn the game. Come in. Yeah, it's. I'm just winding up the show. Good evening. And say
You've lost where you are now.
no, I have lost where I am. Yeah,
I'll
in the old
I'll
script.
paddle a bit.
Eh?
I'll paddle.
You
I'll
pad.
paddle. Yeah.
Paddle.
Tra la 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 while you find where you are.
It's all finished now. Anyway.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. No. So yeah, Sam Burgess, the great white hope of English rugby.
Mm-hmm.
So let's. Can I hear
You can hear the music.
I can hear the music. They're calling me.
They're calling.
They're calling
Keith,
me.
Keith,
Keith,
come,
The
bugger
muffin.
off, bugger off.
The ice cream salesman.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on, Nick. Mr. Whippet. Oh, Mr. Whippet.
Mr. Whippet.
Ooh.
Oh, Mr. Whippet. Yes.
Mr. Whippet. Yes. Anyway, good night from in the clubhouse. The fire's embers are burning down, and I'll see you next week. So thanks for listening to Keith Brace's In the Clubhouse, the local rugby union chat show. Good night, Chris.
Good night, Jim Boy.
Good night, Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob Thornton. Good night, anyway.
Good night.